I'm Eric Loy, and welcome to Eric Loy Interviews. On this podcast, we talk with folks from the VTuber community on their channels, their talents, their stories, where they come from, and their plans for the future. A wild Rayla approaches. Hello.
I am here.
Oh my
Hello.
gosh. Please introduce yourself to everybody.
Hello, everyone. I am a wild Rayla, but I simply go by Rayla. I am your caffeinated, chaotic, crunchy kitsune, the keeper of the keys and beans here in the enchanted Heartsong Forest. That is me.
The keys and the beans. Huh? Well, you've got
The
all
keys and the beans.
You've got all the important stuff. It's a good thing you're on the job. I appreciate you coming on. We've got a little bit of chaotic stuff happen right before we get started. It involves me chasing a very small cat around the house.
Hey, I am used to chaos. It is in the name.
Yes,
So,
yes.
perfect interview for today.
I do appreciate it. I do appreciate it. So, how long have you been in the VTuber game?
Let's see. I have been in the content game since about 2018, I believe.
Yeah.
2018, 2019. I started just trying to get into the streaming world, and I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do yet. So it wasn't actually until after 2020 where I kind of took that year off due to a lot of personal things were happening in my life. We lost my dad that year. That I kind of, after we went through that trial, that I had to figure out my branding. Right. So I didn't know, I was kind of hit or miss as a creator, and I was learning through that whole process. And my current mentor, I had found her and was really interested in what she did. And her and I became friends. And I then decided, you know what, being a VTuber is what I want to do, how I want to present myself to the world, to my community that I was building. And it kind of blossomed from there.
Cool. So you already wanted to be and had that experience as a content creator before. Were you live streaming, or were you doing stuff for YouTube, or what?
Yeah, so I wanted to do a little bit of both, but I was still very new at learning on how to kind of approach it. So I can remember watching YouTube with my son, and there's a lot of creators that we like to watch, and him saying, "Mom, you could do this too." And I'm like, you know what? Yes, I can. So it kind of started there, really, with the encouragement of my son. And I started on Twitch, and I started live streaming and learning how to do that, how to go about being discovered, and just really kind of diving into discovering what it means to be a Twitch streamer.
Right.
But I also wanted to be on YouTube. So currently I am in both fields.
Yep.
But in the beginning, it was more on the Twitch side.
Yeah, you have a couple of YouTube channels. We'll have both of those in the description, by the way, and all the links we've been able to find, including probably a few you don't want us to find. We've got, and we'll have it in the description. So you've been doing this for a little while now. Was it easy for you to get started and be behind the microphone when you first started streaming on Twitch?
I would say it was. I come from restaurant service industry, customer service industry before I stayed home with my children. So being able to interact and engage, even talk on a mic, talk on the phone to individuals and to people, I was comfortable with. What I wasn't comfortable with was showing my face online. That was two-part. A, I didn't know how to present myself. And B, I wanted to protect my home life and be able to not have the kids walk by and be on stream because I am a mom.
Yeah.
So that was one of the reasons VTubing for me personally was very interesting and appealing to me.
Yeah.
And I'm very much a big fantasy nerd and genre. I love going to Ren fairs. So just the idea of putting myself as a character and a creation that could represent me in that way was very also intriguing to me.
Yeah, and one that you don't have to rent an entire costume for.
Exactly. I don't have to change my costume every time.
Yeah.
If I'm sitting here in my pajamas, you guys don't know.
That's right. And it does. I've heard people say that it does give you that little bit of anonymity, enough to kind of expand your wings a little bit and show a little bit more of yourself than you normally would.
It is very comforting. With a lot of different VTubers I've talked to, it's their way again to be able to express themselves and feel comfortable.
Mhm.
I know a lot of VTubers who are actually parents, and that's one of the main reasons they too also wanted to be a VTuber
Mhm.
was to be able to, express themselves in a way that didn't make them feel vulnerable.
Yeah, I see more and more parents doing this, and I'm much older than everybody that I've interviewed. Believe me. I mean, like I said, I say non-jokingly that my first console was a Sears Pong machine. Okay, so we were,
I mean, the first one I played on was an Atari, but I was a kid.
yeah, yeah,
But I'd say my first console was actually the Nintendo.
yeah. Well, there you
My
go.
uncle
See,
had it, and I was a kid, and I got to play on it. So
there you go.
I'm
So
not I'm not ashamed to say elder millennial. For
yes.
a lot of my community knows that's where I am. So
Well, I'm well into the last millennium as far as that goes. But my generation was one of the first ones to put coins in slots for video games. So, I mean, we may be old school. We might be catch up to the young guys, but we're there. we know,
hmm
and there's nothing. This gives everybody a chance to kind of start on equal footing.
hmm
Um, I likened it a little bit before to going from high school to college.
hmm
You're established a lot in what you are, but now you're starting fresh, and it's a new slate. You get to introduce yourself and be a little bit more in control of how other people perceive you. Do you find this the case?
I do.
Hmm.
Uh, I like the VTubing, like I said, because it gives me the image that I want to put out there, but then they get me, the authentic me, behind the VTuber.
Yeah, yeah. No,
So I'm comfortable in my VTubing skin, I guess.
yeah, and no preconceived notion type things when they come on. Hopefully, and you can go from there. Has it been
hmm
easy for you to pick up, say, collaborations and that sort of thing, or have you done that yet?
Oh yeah. So I actually run and co-founded a group
Mm-hmm.
for this reason. Two of my partners and I started what we call V2 Vanguard.
Mm-hmm.
We right now are a Discord community, and we basically are a Discord family where people, VTubers, can come, whether you're just starting out, whether you're established, it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
And find collabs, find people to grow. We have free education, helpful things, mentoring, that we have got up and off the ground running last year. I
Mm-hmm.
think we've almost been a full year running. Um, so yeah, I when I became the VTuber, I obviously had to teach myself how to be a VTuber. I realized there wasn't a lot of resources out there that
Right.
kind of taught someone how to enter this side of the community. I
Right.
feel like that's still very lacking. And that is another part of our mission is to create a place where people can come and learn about the community and how to join this if they want to, because it was very very new for me. I had my mentor and I still do,
Mm-hmm.
but when I went researching for like, well, how do I do this or what does this mean, I couldn't find anything. I
Right.
feel like it was very gatekeeped, and we're trying to not do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
In a way,
thus we created V2 Vanguard.
yeah. I mean, in a way, it is gatekeep, and um, it really shouldn't be. But I mean, I can't
hmm
go around and change everybody's thinking about it. Um,
That's what we're doing. That's our mission.
yeah.
We have a podcast too to do just that.
And what is that
um
podcast?
So I'll have the link for you. I think it's actually in the links I gave you.
Okay.
On our website, we have linked the YouTube channel and our Discord
Yes.
for any VTubers who are looking for a community, looking to make friends, or want to listen to topics that are trending with VTubing and helpful tips and tricks. That is on our YouTube channel. Like you said, I have multiple. That is one of them. We have the actual V2 Vanguard YouTube channel
Yes.
for
Yeah.
that.
There's going to be lots of links here, folks.
Yes, I have lots of links for you. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
No, that's great. It tells it. I mean, obviously, this has become more than a hobby for you.
It has.
It's maybe an escape and a chance to spread your wings a little bit. You're taking care of the kids at home, but here you get a chance to uh, talk to people, frankly, from all over the world, and
hmm
and bring them together in a group and help them out too. That's a great thing.
Yeah, it started definitely as a hobby
Mm-hmm.
to do something, and then it has definitely turned into a passion.
Mm-hmm.
My team and I are very passionate about finding, as we say, as many lost VTubers as we can, or those who don't have a home, because we see a lot of division in the VTubing community. We see a lot of the negative side that gets put out there, which gives VTubers a bad name. And we are trying to grow as a group and as individuals to be a voice that combats that, because
Excellent.
we're frankly tired of all the negative stuff that happens in the VTubing community. And we are first to call it out,
Mm.
or one of the first to call out things. And if any of you, if you guys are here listening to this podcast from the community, I love you. Thank you for listening to this. By the way, make sure you guys also subscribe to Eric, as a hero would say, subscribe, 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 subscribe.
Thank you.
Make sure you guys do that, because I know you guys are coming over here listening to this, and I love you.
Yes.
But yeah, we are a community that because there's so much that we do, but we definitely, us partners that are working on this, stand up for what's right,
Mm.
and defend the VTubing community. And there's a running joke because we call out Niji Sanji all the time, and the community knows.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it is
Yeah.
a very fun atmosphere. We've got cool events coming up, like we run community events, we run movie nights, we do a whole bunch of things just as a big VTubing family. But there's also structure and learning and guidance, as well as collaboration. So it's really a great place to be,
Cool.
to
That's
find other like-minded VTubers.
excellent. Excellent. Now, what would you think, or what it just as of today anyway, what do you think is
hmm
the biggest problem amongst VTubers at this moment?
Ooh, I got a list, but let's see. Um, when I look at it, and like usually I see a lot of this on X, right, or Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
I'm old school. I still call it Twitter.
Yeah.
Um, it's I feel like it's the gatekeeping and the negativity of some VTubers. So I'll give the example of, there's no collaboration amongst the entire community of uplifting and educating each other.
Mm-hmm.
This has already been out before, so I don't care to speak about it again. We spoke about it on our podcast.
Right.
When I was beginning V2 Vanguard and learning how to like do certain things, I used, because I was exploring, AI generated art, not for any monetization purposes, but just to kind of enhance my Twitter posts, to try to put a visual to what I was saying,
Mm-hmm.
because I can't afford to commission art just for a post on X.
Mm-hmm.
So I used one that kind of looked like my model, and I used it with words trying to invite people to the YouTube Vanguard community, and it went viral. I mean, I think I'm at like 62,000 views. It's
Gee.
like shared. It's still out there, and I
Yeah.
leave it for this reason, because I always go back to it. I'm not ever going to get rid of that post, because it still is bringing people to the community.
Right.
But I'd say there was 3 individuals who saw it, recognized that I'd used AI generated art for that post, scrolled through my feed, saw that I had used a couple just to like enhance like good morning posts and things,
Yeah.
and immediately screenshotted all of those things, retweeted it, and was like calling on the entire VTuber community to cancel me, that I was a fraud and I was using AI art, that I should be like not looked at as someone in the community that's trustworthy.
Mm,
And I
that's
was flabbergasted at first,
oh yeah, you should
because
be. Yeah.
a lot of our VTubers in the community are genuine artists. And
Right.
I have recognized since then the struggle that they have
Uh-huh.
with trying to get their art out there and get true clients and, work their trade, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So I understood, talking to a good friend of mine, that why I shouldn't have used AI art. Have since obviously not done so. But the point was, instead of educating me and teaching me something, because I don't know everything, right?
Yeah.
Some members of the community took it as a chance to take a shot at me
Mm-hmm.
and to be rude. And I'm old school too. It's like, if you're gonna put up and say something, then back your words. So when I went to address these individuals, it was like instant block, didn't want to talk to you.
Right.
So it's a classic case of run your mouth, but then don't even have a conversation about something.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it actually backfired on them, because then when I owned what I did and I said, yeah, Twitter, I did that. So what? I made a mistake. Won't ever do it again. It actually influxed our growth in V2 Vanguard.
Yeah.
Because I stood on one of the principles that we stand on, which is integrity.
Mm-hmm. Honesty and integrity. And
Those are two of our principles. Yep.
and the that's where the anonymity of things does create problems, and it's always done
Mm-hmm.
that in various things. It was tough to do even when I ran a talk show, and someone would call on and you say, "This is Bob from Chicago or whatever," and they would give their fake name, of course, and come on and say
Mm-hmm.
something ridiculous and stupid, and I call them out for it, and then they got no feedback because they've hidden behind a shield, and now they go away and they're gone, and then the stench of what they left behind is still there. Um,
Yep.
and that's exactly what happened to you here. I mean, they hit and run like cowards, and and if and it's not like you used it to sell the art for anything. You used it as a tool.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's going to have to be that way in the future anyway. It's going to be used. You're going to have to use it as a tool. Otherwise, it's just not going to
Right. And
work.
in the VTubing community, it's a big no-no, right? And
Yeah,
I've
yeah,
come to understand that because we are so rich in artists
mm,
that it is detrimental to their trade. And
right,
that is what I had come to realize when that had happened.
right, right.
Um, but so going back to your original question, like the biggest problem that I see in the VTubing community, I feel, is that lack of compassion and education, that if someone in the community does something wrong, instead of acting like we are in high school, that we guide and direct and say, hey, just to let you know, I wouldn't do that because this is what the community does and how they feel.
Mm,
Then that's a teaching moment.
yeah,
But
yeah,
again, I also think that's something that comes with age and wisdom
yeah.
that I have gained, that I'm sure you have gained. Being older than a lot of these newcomers into the content creation world, um, that's just not their brain thought, I think
Yeah,
sometimes.
yeah,
That,
yeah,
or maybe they just don't care.
yeah,
But either way, I feel like that is the problem. And with V2 Vanguard, we wish to cultivate a place that does that and
yeah,
that stands up against that. And like I said, in our podcast, we call out things and behaviors we see so that we educate our community. And then we also bring light to what's happening and say, this behavior is not acceptable. You guys shouldn't do this. And, we have open conversations about things like that
yeah,
to
yeah,
where,
yeah.
we
And
bring awareness to it.
and there's levels of things. I mean, if someone is grooming someone, obviously, or something with underage people, that's something that everybody can jolly stomp on, as far as I'm concerned.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. But it's something that's not even a misdemeanor as far as this goes. And if people just get a chance to pull out the hobnail boots and go to work, uh, they're just looking for something at that point. Um, and not only, what they should realize, it not only is it ineffective in what you're trying to do, but it also makes them ineffective because they've wasted a lot of time on something that maybe a little message might have accomplished. They've wasted their own
Mm-hmm.
time in doing it. But again, a lot of it is 18-year-olds and um, people who are not comfortable with themselves to start with, um, deflecting and looking for someplace else to aim their anger at. Um, Unfortunately, you get caught in the middle of it, and
Yep,
you have to deal with
sometimes.
it.
But it can be a learning experience too, which
Mhm.
for me, like I said, it was. And it just only concreted what we are doing with V2 Vanguard even more.
Hmm.
And it was just a hurdle
Hmm.
that, we had to overcome.
Yeah,
And as much as of annoyance that it was at the time, I am grateful for it because it helped me learn something. And then we've moved past it. But as a whole, if I mean, I feel like this could go for any community, right? But with specifically the VTubing community, it is very toxic when it comes to, you know, I guess you can call it cancel culture
hmm,
within VTubing communities, trying to cancel or tear down other VTubers.
hmm,
There was an incident a couple months ago where a larger partnered VTubers were basically bashing someone smaller because their numbers were lower, because they were getting beat in a game or something had happened, but just
Yeah,
the behavior.
that's just
It's a behavior problem,
yeah, that's a
that we're trying to curb, at least from our end, to be good representatives for the VTubing community and hopefully eventually an agency
mm,
where we can hone these ideals and characteristics into practice for our VTubers who come to be a
yeah,
part of our community.
yeah. It's there are always going to be corners to knock off when it comes to trying to make
Hmm.
things perfectly smooth and round, and everybody's got different ways of handling things, and you're not trying to take out the individuality of people. You're just trying to get some type of a um, uh, what's um, civil flow. Is that the best?
Hmm.
Is that a good way to put it? Um,
Yeah, I think so.
I was looking for the right
Yeah,
words.
individualism, we want everyone to be the best creator they can be, right? And to their fullest potential. But you can do that and still be a good human.
Yeah, yeah. That's that's something I've always put out too. I said, people I don't like. Humans are okay.
Yeah, people I don't like, but
Yeah,
good humans are good.
yeah.
Yes. Be a
People
good human.
people do a lot of stupid things. Humans think a little bit before they do things. Um, and the VTube community itself should be, if nothing else, welcoming and accepting, considering the the folks who are in it. There are a lot of people who find fulfillment in being who they would like to be outside of reality and the
Oh
quote
yeah.
unquote real world. And there are some people who have gone through um, um, things in their own life, and they've kind of realized some things about themselves as they go. And here they get to present themselves the way they want to.
Oh yeah, I love the creative liberty you have with VTubing because we've
Yeah,
talked about that too, where you have kind of different styles, right? Like so for me, I my VTuber style is the animated drawed version of who I would be, right? If I could be in this fantasy realm, but the
right.
personality that you get, what's with it, is authentically me. I'm not putting on a show and I'm not acting. But then you do have VTubers who are full voice actor. They are their character, and that's how they present themselves,
Hmm.
which is amazing.
Hmm.
And then you have ones that are a little bit of a mix of the two.
Yeah.
So the presentation of yourself within the VTubing community is endless. You can do so many things. There's so many different creators in the community that we have that range from maybe like me, like a kitsune, or even a robot, or even like a food item. Like you can literally do anything,
Oh
and
yeah.
it's so cool.
I've interviewed bread before.
The range. Yeah.
I've interviewed so many species I'd never interviewed before in my radio career.
Right.
But it's
Yeah,
that's
so you've met many different
oh
ones in the course of what you've been doing to
yeah,
see like the creative liberty that you can have with VTubing
yeah,
is amazing.
and that's one of the reasons why I do these interviews is because everybody is so creative and different in the ways, even if they're just coming on for a lark. There's a reason behind it, and there's a personality behind it that I want to know, and
Hmm.
I'm curious, and I'm old, so you have to do what I say. Um, but that's one of the fun things about it, and to see people kind of get beat down when they're trying to express themselves and enjoy this medium, that leaves a very bad taste in my mouth.
Hmm.
Even if it's and it, I and even if it's done for a reason that makes sense at the time, it, one one moment of weakness should not destroy the entire body of work. Um,
Yeah.
depending on the moment, of course. I, for one, and I'll say this right out loud. I absolutely am mortified that one of these days I'm going to be talking with someone and misgender them because I am old school, very old school. 1980s is when I started, folks. Um, and most of you can't even spell 1980s. um, and I would be absolutely mortified if I did that, because the one other thing I want to do is make people comfortable, and it wouldn't be
Right.
on purpose, uh, by any stretch of the imagination. But the thought of offending someone that way is one of the things that really keeps me up at night with this. I don't want to do that. But if I were to do that, I would hope, by accident, of course, I hope it wouldn't wipe out everything else I've done.
Right.
Um,
We'd hope that the mistake would be seen as that, like a mistake, and gently corrected, then you could move forward. And
yeah.
that's what I'm hoping to help do. That's kind of where, for me, this turned into a hobby to a passion, as I see so much need
Hmm.
in the VTubing community
Yeah.
for a community like VTube Vanguard that we're creating.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, I scroll Twitter all day and see just the divide or the upset, or I can't find friends, or I feel isolated. And I'm like, so I went to my partners, my team, and I said, guys, what can we do? Like, we need to do something. I feel driven to create something for the VTubing community. And that's where we got everything started. So we've got big plans.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we have, like I said, the YouTube channel is for right now. It just has podcasts, but we're coming up with tutorials and different things to go on it. Everyone congregates and hangs out in the Discord community where there's things to do. We're getting ready to host a really big event coming up for
Ooh.
people to collaborate in.
Hmm.
And then eventually, like I said, we have business plan wrote out to where we're going to go and become an agency,
Mm.
but not an agency like that we see out here now. I'll call out Niji Sanji again because we are Hero. I'm going to beat you at being blacklisted. Okay,
Yeah.
this might be my chance.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't know. And I think most people now would agree with you on it. So, um,
oh yeah. But we want to change the game,
yeah.
right? We see what's happening and we want to offer the same but a better alternative, a better way of doing it. So there's a lot of things that Corlith and Hero and I do behind the scenes to cultivate this atmosphere and cultivate this community. But like I've told them a million times, and I'm gonna tell them now on this podcast, we couldn't do it without the people that are in V2 Vanguard. There is no V2 Vanguard without all of them.
Oh, yeah.
So the community is what makes it happen. So I'm really excited for the future of the stuff that we're going to do with that, but it's to combat these type of issues, right?
Yeah.
Like we want to create a place where VTubers can come under the principles that we have, which is trustworthiness, honesty, integrity, friendship, and healthy relationships,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? So that you can build a good brand, you can build your own personal audience, you can collaborate with like-minded VTubers like you guys can talk, chat, do life together. Like that's all that happens over at V2 Vanguard. um I can't tell you how many of them text me today before I got on the call with you and said, "Good luck, Rayla. Hope it goes good." I'm like, "Guys, I'm fine. We're good." Like, but they reached out to me,
Yeah.
because they knew what we were doing today,
Yeah.
and they feel like it's a big step for them too. Just me being able to talk to you, so a lot
Well,
of them are excited.
well, they're all invited to come on. I can tell you that.
Hmm.
I don't turn people down for the most part. I actually have turned a couple people down because of
Hmm.
what they represented.
Right.
And I have, and folks, I have the right to do that. It's not, I'm not like I'm making money. I'm not making a business out of it. I don't want to
Hmm.
promote things that shouldn't be promoted.
Right.
That being said, once you get this thing about ready to go, we got to come on and do a show about it because we got to help push it. And I would absolutely volunteer my services for that. Um,
Oh yeah, we can do an update interview here in the
yeah,
future. See, because we're up and running now. The
yeah,
Discord is going,
yeah,
right, and we're adding some new features soon. But yeah, definitely when we get to the agency side, which was down the road,
yeah,
I will definitely keep you in the loop
yeah. Because
with that.
this all the intentions here are extremely good. It sounds like you're running pretty well. Have there been stumbling blocks to this, and were they unexpected?
I'd say the biggest one is the one that I told you,
Hmm.
because that was the first time that I really kind of like put myself out on Twitter to try to find, VTubers out there. Because I know
Right.
Twitter is a very good platform for connecting and, reaching out. So I've been working on building my Twitter platform, personal platform. And when that AI art thing happened, my heart hurt. I thought, man, I've done just kicked this in the foot. I made a mistake and this entire thing is going to crumble.
Right.
But then the opposite happened and it influxed. Um, so that I think so far has been the biggest one.
Hmm.
Because we were pretty adamant and clear and made sure we set our boundaries and set the standard to what we were going to operate as, as a community at first before we did it. So that's really, so far, knock on wood somewhere, the only one we've had.
Yeah.
And people have come in and gone, and some have said, "Oh, well, I don't like this community because it's not fit for me." And I'm like, "Well, that's okay.
Hmm.
It's not for everyone. Like we are a family friendly to 18 plus community.
Hmm.
Sorry, LewTubers, we love you, but we know there's communities out there that are specifically for that kind of content, and we respect that. So we wanted to make a place for the ones who did not,
Yeah.
want to be part of that community.
Yeah.
So we have everyone from family friendly to 18 plus.
Hmm.
And, within here, you can find those that are, aligned with how your style is,
Right. Right.
So,
Yeah.
um,
This sounds like something that at the very least can help people along with some questions that they have and get them going in the right direction.
mhm.
The things you're trying to do, especially with what you're going to be having up on YouTube, something people can access and without problems, without paying $20 over PayPal to some shady person who
Mhm.
who may or may not have any idea what they're doing. Um, and and people have to remember their mileage may vary on how things go. It How your success depends on a lot of different things, not just how you present yourself, but um, do you have? This is going to sound terrible, but it's I've lived this for 40 years. If you it just doesn't work, it doesn't going to work. If and there's nothing that doesn't reflect on you. If you just if you come on and your voice just isn't particularly good, you try different things and people don't like the voice, your personality just doesn't fit it. That doesn't reflect on you. That just means it's not for you. Or try something
Well,
else.
I'd even challenge that slightly, right?
Yeah.
Because the way that we teach and what we talk about is you are you,
Mm-hmm.
right? You're your own unique person. So you've got to figure out what you're bringing to the table
Mm-hmm.
and the why that you're doing this, right? Are you, trying to make a full-time career out of this? Are you wanting to do what is your specific goal?
Right.
Or are you just a hobbyist?
Mm-hmm.
So, but either way you do it, you need to brand yourself accordingly. And I think that is like the plateau and the number one thing that like we at least teach and that I coach with is when someone's new and like, well, I don't know what I'm doing. And I'm like, well, who are you?
Yeah. Yeah.
If I come watch you, who are you?
Yeah. And I didn't.
You've got to let your audience know that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then fixing mic checks, adding filters or a sound thing to your voice, like all those things can be done and
Right.
coached through and helped done.
Yeah.
But I think it lies in the confidence first of the individual of like, well, what do I want to do? And then knowing your branding and then going from there. And trust
Yeah.
me, your branding might change.
Oh,
Like
absolutely.
I said, I started back in 2019. My branding changed
Mm-hmm.
from 2019 to where I am now.
Yeah.
In 2019, I didn't know I was going to be a VTuber,
Yeah.
and I started as, no cam, where when I was going through different tutorials and learning how to stream, everyone's like, oh, you got to be a face camera or you're going to fail.
Mm-hmm.
Wrong.
Yeah. That was.
Wrong.
Yeah.
I follow and have gotten to know a very large creator that, I'm in his community, never has face cammed in his life.
Right.
Partnered.
Yeah.
Almost 400,000 followers. Not a
Oof.
single time has he ever revealed his face.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
So
I didn't
you
want
just
to.
got to find what works for you.
Yeah. I didn't want to say that you should give it up completely. I might probably said that,
Oh, yeah.
but it's a point where if you're sometimes it's just not going to add up to where you're going to be super successful and make it your career. That doesn't mean anything less of you personally. It just means
Mm-hmm.
that wasn't in the cards. It's just, sometimes you add two and two and two and two together and you get one. It's just,
Sometimes I also think, like I said, it's a mindset,
mm-hmm.
right? So they say like even on YouTube and things like only a certain percentage like make it big, right?
Right.
But I feel like it goes back to mindset and educating yourself. I'm always a student. Like I know that I'm like the head of running V2 Vanguard along with Corlith and Hero, but we tell everyone in V2 Vanguard we are students first. Like we're here teaching you and we're doing this and we'll learn that.
Mm-hmm.
But if you refuse to be a student, then you're never going to learn more or what it's going to take to reach that goal. If your ultimate goal is to be huge on YouTube like Mr. Beast or to be the next ninja or to be the next Iron Mouse,
Right.
then it's going to be a journey and you're going to have to learn the
Right.
entire way and accept your failures. Like you said, when things don't work out, instead of looking at it as a failure, look at it as, okay, well, I made a mistake or I messed up here. What can I learn from it and change to
Mm-hmm.
keep going?
Yeah, exactly. And it may take a lot more work than the other person to do it, and it may take a lot more
Hmm.
time, or you might get extremely lucky. Uh, but I wouldn't put all my money on 23 and let it roll. I would,
Yeah,
and you save some back, and realize that the break doesn't always happen right away. Um,
I wouldn't want it to. I
yeah,
talked to my VTuber mentor and she kind of had a break happen, right? Where she got a huge pop and grew.
yeah,
And she didn't know how to keep up with it.
hmm
So I think slow, consistent growth is a good thing
yeah,
because if you get that shoot to fame real quick, or you've got a whole bunch, you went from like no viewers talking, but two or three in your chat to now you're overwhelmed. You don't know your community and you can't keep up. And that
right.
can be extremely overwhelming. And I've seen people quit even though they've quote unquote made it and like hit that because they don't know how to handle all of that at one time.
Burnout and being scared, and suddenly it's too much, and it's overwhelming, and they can't enjoy it anymore. Um,
Hmm.
and you still have to enjoy it. Otherwise,
Yeah, I enjoy what I do.
yeah, otherwise it's a job and it's a task, and that takes everything out of it. Becomes something you don't necessarily look forward to doing, and that's just a shame.
Yeah,
And that's just a
agreed.
shame. And we have to come back and talk more about these types of things, um, and what Vanguard is doing, what you're doing with it, and your own channel as well. We haven't even hardly talked about that.
Yeah, I have a tendency of putting everything else up before I put my before Rayla. Sorry.
Well, let's face this. Absolutely, this doesn't happen without Rayla. I
Yeah,
mean,
true.
you've put a lot of yourself into this, and it's become successful, and you should be extremely proud of it. It's People are getting help from it, and people are enjoying it, and all the emails and messages you got before coming on here tells you that. There are a lot
Hmm.
of people who are grateful for that. Um, and no matter what happens from here on out, it that's something you can lean on and see that that's that's a gratification that you can't get by sitting on the sidelines.
That's true.
You put the work into it, and it's not luck, it's not providence, it's the work you put into it and people recognizing it, and that makes a huge difference. Um, Now, if somebody came up and give me a check for $1 million, that's good too. But
That would be a plus,
yeah, as long as it
That's the
doesn't
bonus
bounce,
part.
it's. But with the work comes the recognition, which comes the gratification, which gives you the spur to do more work, um,
Hmm.
and enjoy it. And frankly, from everything that we've talked about, I don't think that you don't enjoy 1 minute of it. It sounds like you enjoy every minute of it.
Oh, I do. I enjoy every minute of it. I do. I really do.
Yeah, and it's like it was built for you to do it. You get
Yeah, I do feel like it's a calling.
yeah,
Like you can have many callings, I feel like in life, and this one's definitely one
yeah,
that's near and dear to me. And like I said, 'cause I have so much of a love for VTubing and just creating and making people laugh and bringing them joy. And that I love that I can do that myself
hmm
with my content. And then I can bring so many different people together and we can do that too.
tremendous. absolutely tremendous. And hats off to you for the hard work that you've done here and the good work that you've done here to help people get going and get started and get a good direction and answer those questions that sometimes it's hard to ask people to get a straight answer on. You still have to, and they said you had to be a student the whole time because the field continually changes. There are new things
Mm-hmm.
being in all the time. You have to have the curiosity to ask the questions to keep up. But here's two. If you're satisfied coming on one time a week and just gabbing with folks for a little while, that doesn't mean you're not a success. That means you're enjoying yourself. They're enjoying yourself. Keep having fun.
Mm-hmm.
That's that's all I got to say about it. But we're going to have all the links that folks can possibly get a hold of you and Vanguard in on the description for this interview.
Absolutely.
Rayla, I really do appreciate you coming on. It means a lot, especially given what you're able to do and what you've been able to do. I hope that this gives a little bit of a spur, although it probably gives more of a spur to me than you. I'll take it.
Yay.
And I hope that if whatever comes up in the future, anything I can help with, let me know.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I will definitely let you know.
Thank you for listening to Eric Loy Interviews. Join us again next time when we talk to another member of the always interesting VTuber community.